republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the numbers, please.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Voorhees,
Here.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Here.
Supervisor Trombley.
Here. Thank you, Julie. The approval of the minutes of the previous meetings, first of July 11th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 11th, 2023.
Okay, second.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Are there any corrections or deletions required?
There's a couple of corrections, but nothing we can't look at. On page 5, there's a small one there. They use the word plan instead of plain.
Just typos then?
Yeah, it's just small things, but again, just to kind of clear those up so that they look professional for us.
So is that, besides that one on page 5?
Yeah, on the page 5, it's, we get a small discount, and it is plain and simple is what I think it's meant to be, correct. And then on page 6, it's, it cannot be in our interest instead of it can be in our interest. It's contradictory in terms of the rest of the sentence.
Agreed.
So, other than that, I didn't see anything else.
Okay, so we'll make those corrections on the record. So we have 2 motions. All in favor with the noted corrections?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. July 19th, 2023, special meeting. Welcome a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 19th, 2023.
I'll second
Are there any corrections or deletions required? Anybody noted?
that. The only thing I'd add is on that resolution 23, I think the resolution indicates that in reference to grant, there's singular, it should be plural, I believe. It should be grants and 0% interest loan. So, that's the only thing I saw.
Yes. On the third whereas. Thank you, good catch.
Yeah, it is a good catch.
Yeah,
We need more than one.
good catches.
That's for certain.
With that correction, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing starts in 4 minutes, so I'm just gonna jump ahead to my report. To the public hearing, I'll come back to any comments from the people in the audience. So good evening. August is our Poutine Challenge Month. The whole month of August is designated as the Poutine Challenge Month. Passports are available at the town office and at participating restaurants. Bring it with you to be stamped at each restaurant that you visit. Once completed, return them to the town of Champlain office. Anybody start the camera?
Yes.
Yeah, Brian, yeah.
Thanks. Probably jumped out then. T-shirts will be awarded to the first 20 participants who visit at least 4 out of the 7 restaurants. Each visit must be validated by the restaurant. Participating restaurants are Borderview Grocery, Sandy's Deli, North Country Golf Course Grill, Gino's Pizza, Best Friends Diner, Champlain Truck Stop, and Frenchie's. Our new website is live. Visit thetownofchamplain.com to see our new website and enjoy the summer video on our welcome page. You will be impressed with the freshness and the ease of navigation. And please share this link to the site and the video on your social media. We that live here know that our community is a beautiful, wonderful place to live. Let's spread the word everywhere by sharing. Our Northern Tier Cougar Disc Golf Course is ready for play. It is open any time of day until school starts in September, so please enjoy. It starts on the school property behind the soccer field and continues in the Bob Van Park. You must have your own disc to play. And we apologize for any inconveniences that may have been experienced due to the wet weather causing some delays in mowing the grass. Ridge Road Water Booster Station upgrades. Construction has begun. We apologize for any inconveniences that this much required project may cause during the installation of new equipment. There will be periodical boil water requirements due to Clinton County Board of Health requirements for the affected accounts on Ridge Road and Castine Road. We will continually update these notices on our Town of Champlain website and our Facebook page. To the residents on Ridge Road, please contact us with any questions regarding this. Additionally, if you wish to be contacted directly, please provide an email address or phone number to the town office. Dubois Road Bridge remains closed until further notice. Clinton County Highway Department is currently waiting for bids to come in for required repairs. Please be patient, as the county has been inundated due to destruction caused by severe weather. Be assured that we at the Town of Champlain will share any updates that we get from the county on our website as soon as we get them. CPR, AED, and stop bleed training will be provided for our employees and elected officials exclusively on August 23rd. This is an extremely valuable skill set for our employees to have. Please be patient with us that day, as most of us will be taking this training. Revision to our comprehensive plan. We have been awarded a grant to complete this and are currently completing necessary forms for final approvals from Empire State Development to allow our engineering firm to begin work. Miramar Properties. 19 acres with the mall. Awaiting announcement from ESD for the grant to remove the buildings. I am being told it could be expected in a couple more weeks. Keeping our fingers crossed, because it's critical to our plans for the property. 22 acres submitted for housing. The property was evaluated during the Lake George Lake Champlain Regional Planning Study and was chosen for housing development. I requested a proposal from Camoy Associates to conduct a feasibility study, and with that said, we need to find funding for this step. Therefore, I met with County ADA for assistance, and we are investigating the possibility of IDA funding to complete the comprehensive feasibility on this property and possibly others within the county. Public announcements. The Village of Champlain Summer Concert Series, August 8th. Tonight at the Bill Earl Park featuring the Straw Hatters has been canceled due to weather. The Village of Rouse's Point Summer Series, August 10th in the CMLD Champlain Park in Rouse's Point features 5 o'clock somewhere. Please visit the Town of Champlain's Facebook page or either of the 3 websites for further details on the upcoming events. And they will all be posted on our new website. We still have the mosquito dump kits available. Please come in if you would like some to help control the mosquito season. And as always, thank you to our veterans and active military men and women for your service. And thank you to all of our first responders, both paid and volunteer, of our EMS and fire departments for your dedication to your community.
That concert's been moved to Legion.
They canceled it earlier.
No, the 5 o'clock one
Oh,
on
they
Thursday.
moved it to the American Legion Rouse's Point?
Yes.
Thank you. So the 5 o'clock somewhere, the concert has already been rescheduled and moved, I should say, to the American Legion in Rouse's Point. Same date, same time?
Yep.
Thanks, Julie, I didn't know that. Update that website.
Weather too, because of the
I think
weather?
so.
Yeah.
Probably,
It
yeah,
doesn't, doesn't look too
Because it looks like
promising
it's
for a
supposed
while.
to rain for,
it does. It does. See if we can get on, catch this guy here. So I need a motion to leave the business meeting and enter public hearing. For Sewer District number 7. Where are you?
I'll make a motion, we recess the meeting and open the public hearing on sewer district number 7.
Thank you, do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You in the office, Anthony?
I'm not, I'm actually parked at a gas station right now.
That's what I thought, I was just trying to be funny.
Yeah,
Okay, so we
I
just,
had another meeting, I had to cover for another meeting tonight, so I figured I'd pull over, it's raining pretty good, so.
okay, so we just opened the public hearing. So I guess the next thing I'm gonna do is ask if there's any questions or replies from the folks sitting in the gallery over there.
Not with respect to that, but we have other questions about other things that we'd like to talk to you about.
Okay, so when we circle back, we'll get
Okay.
to that. Okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Any of us here have? Okay, so if there's nothing there, I guess we close the public hearing, go back to general business for resolution. Is that correct, Anthony?
Yeah, if you want, I'll just give a quick update. We submitted the WQIP application. The original deadline was July 28th, but that was extended by DEC until August 11th, but we've already submitted that application, so that's for around a $7.6 million grant for the project. So, we submitted that, and now we'll wait. I haven't heard when they're gonna announce it this year. Typically, it's always been December. Last year was late, it wasn't until March. So my guess is somewhere between December and March we'll hear on that grant application, but, until then, we're all set with grant applications. You'll have the resolution after you close the public hearing to form the district, and then after 30 days, so I believe for your September meeting, you'll be able to do the final order establishing the district. And then
Correct. And,
we'll be all set, yep.
are the other miscellaneous grants that we're gonna apply for, are those on the schedule as well?
Those will be next. First you want the WQIP.
So you wait till we.
In the past, there's been a chance where if you get a WIA first, they'll look over you for WQIP, and you can get a lot larger WQIP grant, so we wanna get that first, and then we apply for WIA and any other, grant to add to the project. So this is the main one, we want to do this first, and then we'll go after the other ones that we can.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that.
Yep. So, yeah, no, that's all I have, unless there are any questions from anybody on anything.
Do you have any questions? Council members?
No, it was pretty spelled out.
Okay. Resolution. Okay, so let's, need a motion to end the public hearing and go back into the general business meeting.
Make a motion to leave the public hearing and go back to the regular meeting.
Second that.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Therefore, I will, I'll read the resolution. Anthony, is that correct?
Yeah, you ready to do so right now? Yep.
Okay, resolution determination establishing Town of Champlain Sewer District number 7 in the Town of Champlain, County of Clinton, State of New York, pursuant to Article 12 of the law of the State of New York. Whereas a petition pursuant to Article 12 Town Law relating to the establishment of the Town of Champlain Sewer District number 7 in the Town of Champlain, County of Clinton, State of New York, has heretofore been filed in the town clerk's office. And whereas Barton and LaJudas, DPC, competent engineers duly licensed by the State of New York, in a manner and detail as required by Article 12 of Town Law, duly filed a map, plan, and report in the office of the town clerk of the town of Champlain in accordance with the requirements of town law. And whereas the said town board did on the 19th day of July 2023 duly adopt an order reciting a description of the boundaries of the proposed district, the maximum amount proposed to be expended for the improvement, the proposed method of financing to be employed, the fact that a plan, map, and report describing the same are on file in the town clerk's office for public inspection, and specifying that said town board shall meet at the Town of Champlain Town Hall, Town of Champlain, New York, on the 8th day of August 2023 at 7:15 p.m. for the purpose of conducting a public hearing on such proposal to establish the sewer district with the specified improvements, and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same. And whereas copies of said order were duly published and posted according to law, and whereas the town board did at the time and place specified in said order duly meet and consider such proposal, and hear all persons interested in the subject thereof who appear at such time and place concerning the same. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the town board, Town of Champlain, County of Clinton, that it be and hereby is determined as follows. 1. The notice of hearing was published and posted as required by law and is otherwise sufficient. 2. That all property and property owners within the proposed sewer district are benefited thereby. 3. That all the property and property owners benefited are included within the proposed district. 4. It is in the public interest to establish the proposed sewer district as hereinafter described. And 5. That the first year cost for the typical properties within the district is $1,200 per annum, and there are no hookup fees to property owners that are connected during the construction of the collection system for the proposed sewer district. And it is further resolved that the town board does hereby approve the establishment of the sewer district as hereinafter described to be known as Town of Champlain Sewer District Number 7, as described and set forth in the map, plan, and report of Barton and Ladrudas, DPC. And be it further resolved that the following improvements in said district be constructed upon required funds being made available or provided for the sewer district. And it be it further resolved that the proposed improvements, including the cost of rights of way, construction costs, legal fees, and other expenses at a maximum cost of $11,370,000, shall be funded by a combination of grant and 0% interest loans from the New York State WQIP Fund, New York State Clean Water State Revolving Fund, and other state and federal grants. And be it further resolved that this resolution is subject to permissive referendum pursuant to the town law of the state of New York. Do I have a motion to approve resolution as read?
Make a motion to approve the resolution as submitted.
Do I have a second, please?
I'll second. I'd like to make one correction, and I think it's the same, the one that Rick caught in the minutes. Should that say grants and not grant?
Plural.
Yes, it should.
Yeah.
And this is a different resolution, it got done twice. It's here in this paragraph. Thank you very much, that'll be corrected. Roll call, please, Julie.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye.
Thank you much. Resolution has been carried. Okay, is there anything else, Anthony, we need to do?
Should be all set.
Okay. All right, very good.
Beautiful. Are you all set with me?
I believe so, Anthony. I mean, I think that's all we have to do is accomplish that resolution tonight. And we'll be back together
Correct.
next month.
So just real quick, Anthony, so I wrap my head around this. So December, you said through March, Are we waiting till that period of time before we start to apply for additional grants to kind of take up this
Yeah,
3.8 million that's remaining?
that's correct, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. Yep. The only other grant application, I say unless they change their usual timelines that we could apply for would be rural development. That would be one option. We haven't looked into using rural development yet, but that'd be an option. You can apply to them, year round.
Okay,
So, it's possible that we could apply to rural development, but other than that, it'll be, next spring when we apply for the rest of the grants.
okay.
What time frame would you apply for?
So
rural
that
development?
December to March timeframe was just when we think we'll hear back on the WQIP. Maybe it'll be early this year, but, just in the past, it's been December, last year was March.
Thank you.
Okay, so you'll get back to us on,
Yep.
on whether you're going to apply for that rural, your grant prior to this decision, or you're gonna do it as soon as we find out from WQIP? That's what I was asking, what's the time frame of having to apply for that one?
Yeah, there is no time frame for rural development. We can apply
That's
anytime for that. It's not an easy application, it's quite a lengthy process, so we didn't have that, in our funding scenarios. We always could apply to them. So it's probably worth, setting up a conference call with rural development, getting their feedback first before the town would decide on, I went through that process. So I can initiate that conversation just so we
Yeah,
know
like-
where we wanna go.
Right, so it may be more valuable then to wait until we find out if we get the WQIP before we even try that, because we'll be putting another investment out ahead of a large grant. Don't you think?
I agree.
That's correct. Rural development, they don't set a maximum grant amount, but they're not gonna give a $7.6 million grant like WQIP, so, great point where I don't think, you wouldn't move forward with the project with just RD funding, you really wanna get this WQIP grant, so.
Yeah, we need more than that. We're hopeful for many more besides WQIP to make it affordable.
Yes.
Okay.
What is that, 113 district?
Okay, thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay,
Sent out 113
yeah,
letters.
no problem, I'm gonna shut the office down and head home, and then
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony, have a good night.
all right, have a good night.
Okay. That's where we were. Okay. Presentations of petitions, communications, and general question period for members of the community. Please address the board, just state your name, let's try to keep it reasonable in time.
I have a couple of questions, but they're easy ones.
Okay,
Chapter, Cindy Manette, sorry.
thank you, thank you.
Chapter 17 of the Champlain law, the way you announce meetings, you have listed some outdated and really bizarre methods of announcing your meetings. The Press Republican, I'll let slide, even though hardly anybody out here gets it. The North Countryman is out of print. WPTZ, I have never in my life seen or heard an announcement for any town meetings on that TV station. Wiry Radio, AM station, it's weak signal, you can't even get it out here half the time. WKDR is a New Hampshire radio station. Why aren't you utilizing more common news outlets like WKOL, The Sun, WOKO, Star 92.9? Those are the stations that people out here listen
Sun
to.
is one
The
of our
Sun is
favorites.
one of
The
our.
Sun, but the
It
Sun
is.
took over for the North Countryman.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
but the other radio stations, I
Where
mean,
did-
nobody listens to
Where
those.
did you get all that information from?
off your website. It's chapter 17.
Chapter 7.
Would you like it?
Yes, please, because at each organizational meeting, we specify who our media is, and I haven't done those.
I
Maybe-
pulled this
so
off your
maybe-
website
Maybe the website's
the day
behind.
before yesterday.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, nobody listens to
So this isn't code, Julie. So I didn't realize we had it listed in code as well. That's why I was wondering what chapter 17 was. So under our town code, under chapter 17, we have a list of the agencies we use, which is a good catch because we have, at our organizational meetings, is where we designate this annually. I'm not sure why we ever had to have that in code, but that's before, I didn't realize it was there, so thank you.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because clearly nobody comes to these meetings, and the reason that nobody comes is because nobody knows when they are. You know, if you were using radio stations like everybody listens to Cool 105, WOKO, those are the popular ones. You announce that
Yeah.
stuff on those radio stations and you'll get more people here, whether you want them or not, I suppose, but.
True, but they are always the second Tuesday of every month, except for the special meetings.
Well, I know that, but the rest of Champlain doesn't.
It
Well,
should be on the website
careful,
as well.
it's a very broad statement, it's hard for us to determine if that's an actual fact. If the entire township is
The
unaware.
majority of the town of Champlain is likely unaware of when your meetings are. I've lived out here for 35 years, I never knew about them. I'm not trying to pick a fight with you, I'm just,
No,
you
no,
know,
no,
just
no,
saying,
no,
you know,
no, no,
utilize
no,
more
no.
common
No,
news outlets,
no,
you know?
duly noted, we will, make sure that, there is greater, I guess, awareness, I think is what you're bringing up.
Awareness, transparency, much needed.
Well, you know, that website that we've got up and going now, that is going to be very good for everybody.
Okay, well, I have some questions about the website too, but we'll wait until this is over with. Actually, it's very nice, a very nice website.
It's supposed to be a lot more user-friendly.
It is, but
And-
it's lacking some stuff.
Well, it's a work in
Well, we're willing to
progress,
listen.
you know, it's, yeah, it's true, very true.
Okay, next question?
Yeah.
It's a yes or no, for maybe. The public hearings that you have,
Mhm.
I couldn't find on your new website anywhere where the minutes for the public hearings are listed. You have the zoning board, planning board, town board, but
They should be listed under special meetings.
I couldn't find it anywhere on your new website. I clicked on every single thing I could click on and could not find anything anywhere.
So this is the special,
The public hearing minutes.
Julie, any comment on that? I thought those were provided in there.
Well,
well,
there's,
usually.
you
Some of
need
them- some
public
of them-
hearing minutes, there's no public
They're
hearing
usually in
minutes.
There's
the
no
They're just in the
special
regular-
section is what I'm
no,
asking.
it's in the regular minutes.
Okay.
Like when we have a public hearing, it's right in like the regular
It's
minutes.
not segregated.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so it specifies in the minutes saying the meeting was closed and went into special public hearing, and then all the transcript after that follows and that, so, yeah.
Just like tonight, the way we
Okay.
recessed the regular meeting for a portion, entered public hearing and came back, so it's all under one. So
Okay.
if there was ever a public hearing that had to be held on a special meeting night, it would be posted as special meeting night, on July 19th, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, on here now, I'm looking at that newly updated page, and it does indicate town meeting minutes. And then there's another category, special meeting minutes.
But if you click on it, there's nothing there.
Correct, there might not be anything, well, there is, I see it. It covers any meetings from May 17th of '23 all the way down to February of '15.
And that's just, I'm not looking for special meetings, it's like just the specifically public hearing stuff.
You have to know what date.
Yeah,
That-
you'd have to know what date to be able to.
To be able to-
Well, I guess my question is, you don't segregate that like Julie said, it's
No.
all incorporated into
Correct.
regular meetings, so I would have to fish through all of the other meetings to find what I'm looking for, basically.
Okay, duly noted, that was something we can look at.
Okay. Next one's an easy one too. The special use permit applications that people submit, is there public access to those, or is that something that's none of my business?
No,
It's all,
they're all here,
all
you can
before
come in and look at anything.
Okay. Chamber of Commerce in Rouse's Point, why isn't that listed on your website?
what Chamber of Commerce?
Exactly, what Chamber of Commerce? It's on the internet, it's listed on the internet, Champlain, Rouse's Point, Chamber of Commerce. In village office, is that what they call it down there in Rouse's Point?
I'm not sure.
Wow.
Well, I'm not sure either, I thought that the Spanish put some time ago.
I know there's a visitor center in the old railroad station building that was renovated, but that's only open on Saturdays, but there is a Chamber of Commerce listed on the internet for Rouse's Point, and I was under the impression, somebody told me, and I don't know who it was, that Pam Demore had taken over the Chamber of Commerce in Rouse's Point, and you don't seem to know anything about there even being one in existence.
No,
Not
you're
that
right,
I'm aware of.
Oh.
not that we're aware of.
Interesting. Huh. Why isn't there one then? Well, I mean, there's one listed, there is one there, but why isn't one being developed for this area? All the other little small towns have their own.
No, not all small towns.
Well, most of
but-
them.
But the ones that are, can afford the amount of volunteers it takes to run it. I'm assuming that's why this one came to an end some years ago. I'm surprised it's still listed, I'll look into it.
Okay.
Same reason why the Champlain IDA defunct is because it was lack of interest. We're trying to change that, but.
Well,
Take
it's
some
just a
time.
question, it's just,
So yeah, we'll look into why that's still listed though.
And could you list the townships that do have them, that we'd be more than happy to, like,
not off the top of my head, no, but I can certainly
Okay.
provide you with that at a
Yeah,
future.
cause that's off, so when we were working on this, we were kind of looking at what other townships were doing to try to,
Comparing,
to try to give us a good idea of where to go for things, so if you can give us some, suggestions, that would be very helpful.
Do you want me to email that to you, to Julie, to whom?
You could send it to
Yeah,
Julie,
could
or,
send
yeah,
it
that'd
to
be
me,
great,
supervisor.
actually, yeah.
Copy the secretary, copy Julie.
Okay. Christopher Stroud, you know him? Name sound familiar?
Nope.
No. Interesting. He owns Yellow 4 LLC, Yellow 19 LLC. Those are the two LLCs that put in solar farms, one across from Price Chopper, the other one going in across from Sharp on the Giroux property. This man is now deceased. You guys didn't know that?
The one going across where?
Across
Across
from
from
Price
Sharp.
Chopper?
The one across from
Oh,
Price
Sharp,
Chopper, and then the one across from Sharp. Yellow 4 LLC, Yellow
Well, that's-
19 LLC.
That sounds reasonably, like I remember it, but not his name.
Okay,
Right.
he was the applicant
Individual.
for those two solar farms. You were unaware that he dropped dead on January 27th of this year?
That's right, I wasn't unaware.
So I guess you probably can't answer my question as to what that means with respect to, the solar farm going in across from Sharp. If this man, his company he's dead, so,
I'm assuming that the company is still functional and has a board of directors that is running it.
we would like to hope so, but he also has 22 other LLCs that he's got scattered all over New York. And by the time that, excuse me, by the time they get to this area, with respect to the Price Chopper one, the 18-month time period, will that have run out? I mean, clearly that isn't completed to anyone's satisfaction.
What do you mean?
Okay, in your zoning law, did I not read somewhere that it said 18 months to complete these projects? Okay. If this man who owns the company, who put in the one across from Price Chopper, is now deceased, by the time whoever's taking over for him gets around to the town of Champlain after they rifle through all of the other business that he's got his hands in. Will the 18-month time period be up for the Price Chopper?
I don't know,
Site?
maybe he turned the company over to someone else or his board of directors before he died, I have no idea how to answer that.
Isn't that something that maybe needs to be looked into? Because, I mean, the one across from Price Chopper is a disgrace. I mean, there's mounds of crushed stone with grass growing out of it. Clearly, that's an unfinished project.
Cindy, the problem, I just found this out, but I know what you're talking about in the front of that, where there's dirt and it's a mess and
It's a
there's the grass.
disgrace.
That's not their property.
That's not their property.
That's
They
owned
lease
by
it.
someone else.
Correct.
So that's why that's not,
Well, then who do I complain to about that? Because it's a disgrace, it's an
So
eyesore.
well, you would
To
have
the owner
to,
of the property.
Who owns
well,
it?
you would have to. You could come to Chris
You
and
could
put
come to
a,
Chris,
and
but
put a complaint.
Chris
Code
has been
enforcement.
trying to get them to move it, and there's nothing in our code that says you can't have a pile of fill on your property, so it's a very difficult thing to do. But he is trying to get them to move it because of the appearance of it. And people think it belongs to the solar company, and it doesn't. The solar company only owns like the driveway that gets to it. Somebody else owns that whole frontage.
Okay. You say so.
Well, you believe it or not.
No, I know, I believe you.
You could go on a
I
county
believe you.
GIS map and look it up, you'll see how that property maps out.
Okay, I have just one last question. You had relayed a message through Matthew Kupal to me, something about you were taking steps to correct a zoning issue. Can you elaborate on that?
No, can you elaborate on what that zoning issue was? I don't
He didn't
recall.
tell me. All he said was that you asked him to tell me that you were working on taking steps to correct.
No,
the
not
issue.
not to correct, we're taking steps to look into what we can do to amend our zoning. I think that's what he's referring to.
Okay, so you can't elaborate more on that?
No, cause it's just in the early stages, I've, acquired, a consultant to help with this, and we're just, I mean, that's about as far as it's gotten. It's gonna take some time.
Okay, to help with this, are you referring to
We're gonna look at
solar
whether-
farms in
whether we can
residential
put
areas?
a little more control on the, locations
Okay,
than what we currently have. But I can't comment any further than that, because that's as far as it's gotten, and we're working towards it. At the very least, if we knew exactly what had to be done and had all of our ducks in a row, you're looking at a 4-month process. It's nothing that's speedy. New York State doesn't make it easy to pass laws.
no, I'm aware of that. I was just wondering if you had any more information that you could,
That's all I have,
okay, thank you.
yeah.
That's all I have
That's-
as well.
That's all I've got.
Will there be any work meetings where you guys discuss this that are open?
Possibly, I'm sure we probably will have committee meetings.
Once we obtain a consultation service, I'm sure that there'll be meetings that you'll be aware of.
Hopefully it's not the same consultation service that you got to change the zoning law.
Oh, that was a very, very, well-known and established, consulting firm.
That means nothing when they do something like this. Very well-established people often do stupid things.
I'm not gonna comment against that. Anything else? What
So
to
we're
do-
looking at a 4-month time frame, and then hopefully there will be something,
That's minimal, but yeah,
and maximal.
probably 6.
We'll give you that one.
Can I just ask one more question about the Miramar property?
Yes.
The, you said housing development, is that like a set in stone kind of thing?
Oh, God, no, it's not set in stone, but we're very fortunate, the property was, that I submitted it because it has infrastructure and it got accepted and, chosen as the only property in Clinton County in this study. So that gives it some clout, but in order to find an investor now to build these homes, there has to be a feasibility study done.
Would you consider something else other than a housing development?
Yeah, what's your idea?
Well, okay, with your new website, you're very proudly promoting Lake Champlain, nature, and you have some beautiful pictures, particularly of the lake. With the number of fishing tournaments on Lake Champlain, okay, just bear with me if I'm not making any sense, just tell me.
I'm kind of chuckling inside, so you go to the same place I go all the time.
Years ago, I used to work for Gary Douglas at the Plattsburgh North Country Chamber of Commerce. And during these fishing tournaments, I can't tell you how many hundreds of phone calls that we would get from the professional fishermen, the amateur fishermen, their entourages, everybody that follows them from across the country looking for hotels
Lodging, yeah.
and tackle shops.
Mm-hmm.
Bass Pro Shops sponsors some of the fishing tournaments on this lake. Would you consider,
No, so there's two different properties there. So just to clarify, the 22 acres that was submitted for the housing development is on the north side of the property. That goes all the way back to Dubois Road,
okay,
not where the mall is. The mall sits on 19 acres in the front.
Yeah.
If we can be lucky enough to get the grant awarded to demolish the mall, then we're gonna market it for hotel and or a Bass Pro Shop. That's what the front end's gonna be in our vision. The mall's gotta go before we can.
no, I understand
possibly get
that, I was just, throwing an idea out there,
Well,
it
it's the
just
same-
seems
it's
like
the same-
to attract
it's the same-
tourism.
It's the same idea, Cindy, we're already on that page, but it wasn't for the back 22 acres, it was for the front, what's on Route 11.
No, I was referring to specifically where the mall is, that
Right.
particular
Exactly, that's what our
section
plan,
right there.
and that's what our plan is.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of tourism that something like
That's-
that would attract, and hotel chains follow Bass Pro Shops, they follow Cabela's. Wherever you have one of them, you have a major hotel chain, that could be huge for this area, something like that.
I agree, and I'm on the same page, that's why I'm
I'd
trying
love to see
hard
that.
to get the building taken down in order to start trying to market that acreage. But that's why when I talked in my report, if you notice, there was two separate properties I talked about. One was the housing development, one was the mall going. They're two separate parcels.
I probably wasn't paying attention, I didn't catch that. You know that there's a marsh on that property as well, right?
There's a bit of a wetland on the back end,
Yeah,
but that,
because I would have a problem with somebody filling in that marsh.
no, actually, they built a park around it in the
Okay.
rendition that they give us of the housing development. There was 28 single-family homes, 3 apartment buildings, and mitigating around all the wetland was a park area and trails. So the housing was really around the outside.
You know what else would be great there? Since we're on a roll here? Something on a smaller scale, like what Paul Smith's has, the Outdoor Education Center. It's already got a marsh, it's already got natural, native wildlife species that come in and out of there. That's a moneymaker. I paid a lot of money at Paul Smith's. I mean, there's other things besides more houses. We have enough people out here.
No, we need more,
We need tourism.
no, we need more people to get more industry.
We need
They
tourism.
go hand in hand.
We need tourism.
You need the industry first.
Right.
No, not necessarily. You need people in order for, when somebody's looking to build, set up shop, I'll just say, okay, and you wanna hire 200 employees to fill that business. They look at the population, they look at the age of the population.
Any
We
education.
need, and the education, so we need more families, there's no doubt about it. We need more young people to fill the school. That's also a fact. So they go hand in hand. We can argue all day what goes first. We lost 2,000 jobs at Wyeth.
Together. You need to do
We
them
lost
together.
2,000 jobs at Wyeth, and are there any houses that are empty? Very few, right? So I've had these discussions with people. Cart and horse, it's really hard to tell.
I grew up in Plattsburgh, and we lost the Air Force Base down there. That was a tremendous asset to the community. When we lost that, the development companies came in and they tried to market this and that, and they built some nice housing out there, a lot of senior housing and whatnot. But you have to be extremely careful, because Plattsburgh also attracted a lot of low-income housing, because on paper it looked really good. Oh, look at all this grant money we can get for all of this subsidized low-income housing. But what they failed to realize is what they were getting in those houses and what that would do. There are many detractors. There are many problems associated with low-income housing. Speak to anybody in the state police and they can tell you where they spend most of their time. So when you look at housing out here, you've got to be very, very careful of the
Yeah, well,
population you see.
that's not what my vision is.
Okay.
I feel we have enough as it is.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I can tell you that the governor is trying to move more upstate out of the
Of
city.
course.
I'm very attracted to developers to build those types of units, and it's something when we're doing our comp plan, we can try to discuss and figure out if we can put some limitations in some way. But that is an issue, and I'm very aware of it. I'm very
Do
aware.
you guys do a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan? Do you actually envision where you'd like to see this?
That's what we're trying to do. Again, we talked about that. This comp plan is dated 1983, I believe. So it's way overdue, right? So that's why we are doing what we're doing. We went out looking for grant money last year, got awarded, but it's a very slow process getting the paperwork completed to get started on the project. Once that project starts, it's gonna take a year to do that plan.
Easily.
So yes, we are definitely aware and definitely doing
It
it.
just seems like you're moving in a lot of different directions, but there just doesn't seem to be a big coherent plan, and I think
Well, that's what the comp plan will be.
hopefully, yeah.
That's the goal of it, is that we have something
Who is
to
working
plot
on that?
things out.
EES Engineering is going to be our engineering firm to work on that.
I'll research them.
Yeah, they're the engineering firm that's actually taking care of a lot of the updates to the high school that you've seen now kind of taking place. They've been around a long time.
Yeah.
Their office is located the other side of Cliff Haven.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you for all the good ideas.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that.
Thanks for the input.
Well, you've only had one bad one so far, so
That what?
the solar
Oh.
in residential areas. Hello?
Okay,
We're not gonna pour any more gas on that fire, right?
please don't.
No, that's what we're asking of you, please don't.
Pour more gas, well, no, so as far as that project itself, that's now, tonight we'll be looking at approving a third-party engineer to go behind their people who are currently now working, trying to rebut all your points that you brought up, right?
They don't have enough time.
Well, we'll see. And we'll see where this goes and what gets determined. What, it's gonna boil down to the facts. The zoning board is gonna have to analyze the facts and decide where to go with it. I mean, it's a process.
Who's the lead agency, the lead committee? Is it the zoning board or is it the planning board for the Hayford Road properties?
At this point, because it's special use, it's a zoning board.
It's the zoning board, okay.
That's what-
Okay? Anything else?
I think we're done.
That's why we have these checks and balances of the different boards, so that we can catch things that.
Well, I just asked because I noticed that, some of the solar farms that are, the seeker reports, the planning board signed 2 of them, and then the zoning board did another one. So it was like, Carl Shank signed one of your done deals, the Mason Road one, maybe? It was, and he's planning board, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to look into exactly what took place there, but there was, the code wasn't, how do I wanna put this? The code is very convoluted, and it took some time to get everybody on board to follow the code the way it was written years ago, and it needs to be revised, and the comp plan will drive that. Once that comp plan is done and we do rezoning, then we'll be able to reestablish who does what between the two boards. Because it should be more of the planning board. The ZBA is exactly what it says, it's a zoning board of appeals. And with town code, the way it was written, they currently do seeker.
I have one more question and then I'm gonna shut up, I promise. Last month, you mentioned that you were looking for alternates for the zoning board. If we were to send in our letters, would you reject us because, you know, we're so outspoken?
No, we would consider you, but I'm not. It depends, I'm not guaranteeing that you would be appointed, but no, if you want to send in letters, that's fine. We'd certainly consider it.
Probably won't, but I was just asking.
We can use planning board too, right?
Yeah.
Planning board needs alternates as well?
Planning board doesn't have any.
They don't have any
I have one, I haven't had time to, actually, we should bring it back up. We'll see how much time we have it.
Once we have that
If we go into a
comprehensive
session or
plan,
not.
that's like the foundation of trying to organize it again, where we want to be. Because you're right.
Okay.
There's no
I'd
plan
like to move on.
to figure out where, what should be done, what we wanna see.
Okay,
in our
report
area.
from the supervisors have been done, so reports from the council members. Brian, can we start with you, Councilmember Moore?
It was a very good launch of the website. That worked out quite well. And there's a few things we can add to it, and we're gonna keep improving, but I think Jason did an excellent job.
Yeah, and the nice thing is now that it's been out in public space, we've been getting a lot of people perusing it and then sending emails in, with, you know, finding things, misspellings, et cetera. And it's, you know, that's what it's about. We'll keep tweaking it. And like I said at the thing, it's gonna evolve. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that was good. You were there.
So were you, Brian, I'm sorry.
No, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunter.
Nothing to add from the two fire departments. Pretty quiet, Houses Point and Champlain. In terms of the EDU report, I gave everybody an EDU adjusted listing
Yeah.
of all of the properties, both residential and commercial. And if you look at the last page, it's a summary of what the EDU committee recommends. There were 3 properties that will change the current EDU adjusted listing, and it will increase by 2.5 EDUs. Total water used through the first 2 quarters of, or last 2 quarters of 23, the first 2 quarters of 23 is comparable to what the number of gallons that have been used over the last 3 years. So we haven't seen a large change in terms of water usage. The EDU Assessment Committee does recommend, with the amount of time that our code enforcement water personnel is actually spending on being able to flush the lines on those external locations on the Cast Iron Road as well as on Route 11, that we look to purchase an auto flusher with a built-in meter and also a portable meter for hydrants. And as indicated here, this will be able to allow us to address and monitor and timely correct the action with low chlorine levels at the end of those particular lines. The town's water personnel spent way too many hours. In fact, just this week, Chris spent 6 hours on the Cast Iron Road having to flush those particular lines, and I just think there's a better use for him as personnel. So I strongly recommend that we look at these purchases to not only enable water personnel to kind of quantify the amount of water that is lost during those particular flushings, but that way we can provide that to the water board.
Oh, I agree. Did you happen to ask Chris to get prices on this for
We
us?
did,
Okay.
and we haven't, kind of got numbers on that yet, but I strongly recommend that we move forward with this, so. And then the last part here, the EDU committee recommends the need for better communication and collaboration between the town of Champlain and the village of Champlain's water personnel. There's been water-related job responsibilities that have been occurring within the town between residential and business customers that the town's water personnel is even unaware of, and it ends up being redundant. You end up finding that Chris has to go to those particular locations and find that things have been attended to, and there's just that lack of communication and collaboration, so we strongly recommend that this get communicated to the water board. Also, there is a lead sewer report on behalf of the EPA that is due in October of this year, and as at the current time, the town's as-built does not show everything. Therefore, we recommend that we kind of work, again, more collaboratively with the village to kind of provide those as-built and have a comprehensive mapping so that this report can be prepared, and even more important, any future water line issues can be readily identified as to where they are.
I agree. I hate doing this to you. It's not a lead sewer report, it's a lead service line report.
Service line. Okay, thank you.
But, I agree, and, well, we just met and discussed that yesterday, actually. So we're trying to figure out how to get that done.
Okay.
And we'll have to talk about that at a later time on how we're going to compensate the amount of time it's gonna take for Chris to go to the as-built.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, as duly noted. That's it for me.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Councilmember Rochester?
What does that mean, that as-built?
Okay, you get whenever a system goes in, like when the water system was done here a few years ago, the engineers have to provide a set of drawings, like if you look up on top of that file cabinet, some
all
of those are
that?
probably as-built.
Okay.
And they're literally drawings that list every component that is installed, because they're supposed to
All
list
the
every
pieces,
single
all
component. Yeah, so the hope is, because that part of the system is very new, this lead service line report we have to provide, which is an inventory, will get nearly all of our information from those as-built. Then there's a couple of areas, such as a small line on Paris Mills Road, just as you leave the village, the Dubois Road going up to Miramar, and the Ridge Road that we don't have drawings on, so that may have to be physically inventoried somehow. So this is a big deal.
How do you inventory something like that? Is there a lighted line or something that gets fished in?
There is
They have technology that they
There
can
is
use.
equipment available, we don't know.
Correct, we don't have it
It's
though.
expensive,
Oh.
it's expensive, and we really don't know the
Can you
details.
rent it or lease it or?
No, we gotta talk to Rouse's Point. Rouse's Point may have to purchase it as well, because they have no
The same
documentation.
problem too?
Yeah, this is going on through the state. I did a WebEx last week, where the state is providing funding, but it's only to disadvantaged communities, so you have
Are
to.
we considered that?
I
With a
don't
high
know.
poverty rate,
I
we
know.
don't qualify.
Councilmember Moore was gonna look into it. I didn't get it sent to you today, but I will get it to you, to find out what that formula is.
I would think of as our major employer, moving the heck out of here.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, it's probably a very low threshold. But even if it is, then it's, the next step is to find out, who do you hire to do it and how do you get it done.
And I think it's something that needs to be part of the shared services between the two municipalities and the town.
That makes sense.
Because it's a piece of technology that all three of the municipalities can benefit from.
We'll need it, yeah.
Yeah, well, have to have the discussion, because it's somewhere in the tune of 25 grand for
Correct.
this item.
Ouch.
and Chris seems to feel that we probably don't need any things, we can do it without it, but we gotta go forward. More meetings, more discussions, try to figure that out.
And when you're weighing, you know, how much does it cost to have somebody physically do that and,
Well, you have to measure the amount of time it saves.
right,
If it's
right.
taking Chris hours upon hours where the technology can save that, and think also along the lines that technology, the pricing is only gonna go up.
It is,
So,
but in theory, once you get this inventory completed, you don't,
How long
just-
does it last for?
you just maintain it at that point, so anytime you install anything, you document what you've installed into this spreadsheet that the state requires.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to go back and revisit the lines again, is what I'm saying.
Oh, good.
So,
That sounds
we
very,
gotta
very
figure that out.
expensive.
My next step is talk to Rouse's Point, see where they're at, gotta get a meeting together. Brian's gonna look into whether or not we would even qualify for any funding.
I'll just look for the email.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's an important thing, so we think that they would be very proactive for helping us get it. But I guess there's a lot of people with their hands out, you know. with
well, I can tell you that the
municipalities.
village of Rouse's Point wasn't even aware where the water shut-off lines were in our development until I actually took up my driveway. And all of a sudden I looked and I said, don't go any further. And I called
Well, for-
Menard and the village office, and he came over and he says,
Well, there they are.
interesting. And I went, you don't have blueprints that show this? He says, no.
No.
And I said,
Same with
That's
Village of
sad.
Champlain. It was, you know, for many years, it was relied too much on the superintendents to just
Correct.
know where everything is.
correct.
Which they did. Yep. They're not there no more.
Mm.
So they take the knowledge with them. And even then, yeah, it's not, documentation has to be done.
Yeah, you're right, it's to pass it forward, you know, as
Mhm.
we go, so. But no, I do not have anything to report, but that was very educational, because I had no idea what a building was.
Thank you. Councilmember Bory.
I'll start with the zoning board of appeals. They met on July 20th, and a few things. It was a very well-attended meeting. There was a public hearing, and the application was approved for the,
RL Valley.
the RL Valley, the extension that they're doing there, yeah, the Maple Fields. Then the solar application was tabled upon further independent review that they're gonna be doing on the application, not to mention all of the concerns and issues that the public brought to the attention of the ZBA, so they're working on that. And then the other applicant was asked to, I think, refill out their paperwork, if I'm not mistaken, so, that's the one on the Meridian Road, so. Next zoning board meeting is August 17th, that's gonna be here in the boardroom at 5:30. Julie, is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
as of right now,
yes, so August 17th at
Kinda
5:30.
right?
yeah. But we're not sure if we'll have a meeting this month.
Okay, cause there may not be anything to meet, okay.
Yeah, they might not be ready on that paper road project. And if people in Meridian don't get back to us in time for the agenda,
There'll be nothing for them,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's scheduled for them, if there is business to be done, so.
What's going on in the Meridian Road? That's way up there by Canada, right,
yeah, the old customs house,
Yeah.
they've done renovations there, and they're applying for a special use permit to do a distillery.
oh,
Okay, we talked about that like a year ago, but they've had issues with,
it's a process.
yeah, it's a process. It's issues presenting it to the board is what it is. If they would be here, both of them be here, both owners at the same time, I think to answer questions, I don't think there's a problem with the
With the
application.
concept. yeah.
Right, right,
Huh.
it's just, they need to both be here.
And there were a few things I think the board asked them to take care of that they needed to prove or something to that effect. If I remember right.
Right.
All right, so that was ZBA. Next, Brian and the supervisor brought this up, so Councilmember Moore and Supervisor Trombley talking about the new website launch. So we had a soft launch at the very end of July. And then we had our formal rollout just this week, August 7th. And as we had it was well attended in terms of the Chamber of Commerce was here, the North Country Chamber of Commerce had representatives here, Billy Jones was here, Calvin Castine was here, and Mayor of the Village of Champlain. We are excited to have people kind of go through this, and we can see that the community's been using it, and they're actually
Yeah.
giving us feedback, different places, and it's good. It's so, as we've heard, it's kind of a living, breathing thing, and it can be amended and adjusted as we continue to move forward. So we would ask the community if there's something on there that's not right, or something on there that something not on there that you'd like to see on there, just let us know, and we'll make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, there is many things we need to add, so we're just gonna keep
Yeah.
working on it.
We're trying to make it as inclusive as possible, and the goal with the rollout was to see how easily you can access the information. I think, I don't wanna put you on the spot, but Cindy, did you find it relatively easy to use, the new?
For the most, yeah, it's much better than the last one.
That's good, so we're moving in the right direction, so
Yeah.
that's really kind of the key here.
Yeah.
So we asked the public to take a look at it, share it, and let us know what we can do to make it better, so.
Because we agree about the tourism, I mean, that is.
Oh, yeah. You can see that was the website, I think, leans really in that direction, really trying to make this place attractive to the outside world,
Hence
right?
Bass Pro Shops.
Well, we're hoping businesses like that will see it and say, wow, didn't know that was
They
there.
won't see it, you have to present it. You have to present the
Well, that's why we
property.
need to share it.
Gotta
share it.
present the property.
Share it.
Um,
Well, let me get the Walter down, okay? They will present it.
Paul and I are capping all the open projects next week, so
Awesome.
we're finishing all that up.
Right.
So he's a busy guy. He's every time he moves his dates around a lot
That's our
because we
videographer.
can't
Just Paul
we can't
that
seem
he's
to connect
talking
on the
about.
right day. Or he tells me a day and he's like, oh no, wait a minute, I gotta be somewhere else. So, but we're gonna be capping the open-ended projects. And I have to give thanks to, again, the supervisor for all the support, the board for all their support too, with the, being able to go forward with this, and the budgetary needs. It's very appreciated. It's something that I think we've all seen the value in, and we will hopefully continue to see it pay off in dividends in the future. And to Sarah Gagno, who has taken the training to learn about how to manipulate the website so we can change it as quickly as possible. And of course, Boyer Benner Group, who was behind the creation of it and the maintenance. We really do appreciate everything there.
And if I might interrupt, Jason, and thank you to you, because you put many hours in. I mean, Jason is responsible for helping produce those videos and the narration, et cetera, and the scripts. I know Paul did the lion's share of the work, but you were there the whole way through.
Yeah, in the entertainment world, it would be called a producer, so that's,
Yeah.
The donator of blood, sweat, and tears.
well, like, the individuals who, attend meetings or come to these, other formats that we have for zoning or planning or, other public events or food truck, I mean, we all love this place that we live, and so if we can make it as, holistic, I don't know how else to put it, so it works for everybody in the best way possible, I think that's really the goal here. I do it because it's as I said at the press, it's a labor of love.
Yes, it is. I wanna thank you again.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks.
I appreciate your support. Townwide yard sale, Saturday, August 19th. That is townwide, so that includes the two villages. So if you're in Rouse's Point or you're in the village of Champlain and you wanna have the yard sale, you can get on the townwide yard sale, anybody in the town, okay? Contact Julie, she'll get you on the map. So if you wanna officially be on the map, and Julie, are those handed out Saturday morning, or are they available Friday? Where can
They'll
people get the
be-
map when they're ready?
They'll be available here on Friday,
Okay,
and Stacy Gooley is gonna let us put them in Borderview.
okay.
Oh, nice.
So there's your marching to go get your maps. So they'll be available here at the town office on Friday, the 18th of August. And if you can't come that day, they'll be available on the day of the yard sale at Borderview Grocery.
Yeah, and it's on the website too.
And it will also be on the website. Hey, how about that?
Map again.
Okay? So it'll be on the website, okay? So townwide yard sale, August 19th. That's all day long. Our next food truck night or day is gonna be Thursday, August 24th. So that's Thursday, August 24th, that's 4 to 6:30. We have Tammy's Lunchbox gonna be here in the parking lot, the town office, for anybody that wants to come and have Tammy's Lunchbox do the cooking for them. That's on the 24th. And the other thing you mentioned, the free concerts. It looks like the one that's for August 10th is gonna be at the American Legion now. That's the one Rouse's Point has scheduled. And the next one at Bill Earl Park is gonna be on August 13th. And that's at 6 o'clock. So ends the report.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I should mention this, we had the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Border Patrol station across from
Goss.
Goss, Chevrolet. And it was very nice, it was well attended with lots of very eager Border Patrol agents and staff that say that this is long overdue for a new state-of-the-art facility that can accommodate the personnel that they have. I think the quote,
50.
yeah, I think the quote was, when we moved into the new building on the Ridge Road, it was already too small on the first day. So this should hopefully make them more, I guess, efficient at their work or more productive.
And his vision's like 20 years in the making.
Yes, it's a long time coming. So they're very excited, and it was nice to see their excitement and their beginning on this project. So that was great.
Thank you.
Supervisor, do you wanna make sure you announce, the Village of Champlain's 150th
Yeah,
on
that's-
September 23rd, and businesses, they're looking around, the 15th of August to have submissions? So-
yeah, it's in the correspondence, I was gonna touch on it when I got to
Okay,
it.
great,
Yes, we
as
did.
long as you're along dates and things.
And I need to work on resolutions for that, we approved at next month's meeting. It's on my to-do list. Okay, report from the town clerk, please.
You have my monthly report for approval.
We do. We have a motion to approve as presented.
Make a motion to approve the town clerk's monthly report for the month of July 2023 as presented.
I'll make a motion to second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Um,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Jim.
Yeah, and I just wanna mention that, 2023-24 hunt season, licenses have come out. So anybody looking to get their hunt license, and just to make everybody aware, it's almost school tax time.
Ew.
So,
Exciting.
it'll be coming out.
Thank you for that vital information.
And just one.
Review of the post audit bills. Is there any question on the abstract? Abstract's usually pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
If there's nothing there, then we need to look at the monthly bills, which, we have additionals. Let's see. So the total monthly bills was $102,539.62, with the additionals to fleet charge for Venner Group and First Light. The total is $113,777.35. I get a motion
I
to.
make a motion that we approve the bills as submitted.
Okay. Second?
I second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on any of the items? Okay, if not, roll call please.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you very much.
I see we fixed the clock, so I wouldn't be.
You'll be home for 8.
You'll feel much more rested when you leave tonight's meeting.
That psychological.
You all have a report from the code enforcement officer.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions in regard to his report? That I may or-
Shoulder road on the Schweenor Road, what's, evidently you have pictures of that, Tom?
Yes, that turned out being very negligible. It was about a 2-inch lip. What happened was a homeowner decided to remove the shoulder material that was put down after the paving and replace it with topsoil. But because it's, Alan recommended that we just leave it as is.
Right.
There's not a hazard in regards to the lip off the road. So that's what it was about. I had asked Chris to stop by and get pictures because it got reported back to me what happened.
And just something I think that needs to be mentioned, as pointed out here by the code enforcement officer, that the town of Champlain does have a noise ordinance. And there was mention here that there was a noise ordinance or a noise issue that was reported. So we just want to remind all of the town of Champlain residents that there is a noise ordinance, and you should be able to find that on our town's website.
Correct? Nothing else? We'll move on to the report from the dog control officer. And, something's pretty busy. It's a packet.
Yes, yes.
I don't know, do you have any questions on any of these? May or may not be able to help with, if not, I can find out.
Oh, I don't think that Sox is owner's last name. Sox is a popular dog over there at Carrier Farm.
Oh yeah, I know about it, keeps reoccurring. Let's
I
put
think
that
there's
way.
only one open case, all the rest are closed cases.
Correct. There's no further questions on that. Alan does not have a report. So move on to the correspondence. You have the planning board meeting minutes. And this get put out of order. I'm gonna do a copy of those. I got this file in here. It's probably in here. If you have it, I'll save you from looking for it. It wasn't right.
Yes, right after the minutes.
Made yours from it. It's not there. I bet it's in my copy, because I made a copy of it. So I'd like to read this one, because you're right, this is an important one. I plan on reading it, so this is from Mayor Fettridge. Greetings, the Village of Champlain will celebrate its sesquicentennial, its 150th birthday. Hope I pronounced that halfway right. Centennial,
yeah.
that's what's wrong. On September 23rd, 2023, with a variety of activities. We're inviting local businesses, agencies, and nonprofits to participate by setting up a canopy tent and tables with displays highlighting their organizations. This will give you an opportunity to showcase your business and get to know more people in the area. So please let the Village of Champlain know by August 15th, if you plan on joining us, via email at mayor@vchamplain.com or by phone at 518-298-4152. In addition, there will be a program regarding the history of the village and an official dedication of the playground to Clark Hurdick, children's activities, a cornhole tournament, music, and food for sale. A detailed schedule will be provided as the event approaches. We sincerely hope to see you at this milestone in the village of Champlain. Thank you. So yes, we definitely need to participate. So I invite all the council members to join me there, but that's, congratulations, Village of Champlain, ahead of that. Let's see, Charter Communications, upcoming change. AC Power, provided this for you to let you know, this is another company looking at the same one we're in agreement with, the same property on the landfill. You know, our current Champlain landfill, I should say old Champlain landfill. So, just for your information, there's another one that's interested in being there, other than the one that we're currently in a contract with.
I find it interesting, a lot of businesses never date their correspondence anymore.
That's a good point. I know.
You have no timeline to follow up, and it's just, it's
Poor practice,
it
right?
is a poor practice.
I agree. Okay. Hearing, under new business, public hearing has been done, resolution 24 has been done. That brings us on to transfers. I'll lead, I'll make a motion to transfer from account A 1990.4 computer contractual, $800, to A -1220.4 supervisor contractual, and to A of $360, and to A 9010.8 state retirement, $440.
Can make a motion as submitted to approve those.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Next is the agreement between owner and engineer for professional services. So what this is, and I provided you with the second, which is a letter of authorization. It'll be underneath one bullet item number 4. So the first is, you remember doing this with them last year, it's expired. This short form of agreement between Town of Champlain and the engineer for professional services essentially links us to be able to do various things by letter of authorization separately. So everything that we hire them for would be done separately, but under this umbrella. So what I would need is a motion to accept this, which is effective date was August 1st, 2023. It goes for a year. It goes through July 31st, 2024. 1 year term agreement. So we need the board's approval to accept it and sign it. And once we do that, we can address the letter of authorization, which I received very late this afternoon.
I don't know if everybody's looking through the last page,
The rates.
all the rates and fees.
Which, I guess I should have provided last year's, they're very similar. But yeah, that table's scared you last time.
It scared me last time, scares me this time.
But like I said, that's each individual thing we hire them for is approved individually under a letter of authorization. This is just the umbrella.
I make a motion that we approve the short form of agreement between the owner, engineer, Town of Champlain, and AES Northeast PLLC.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
No expenditure there, so I don't think we need roll call.
No.
Oh, we can though, go ahead.
Councilmember Rochester?
Aye.
Councilmember Bory?
Aye.
Councilmember Moore?
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter?
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley?
Aye. Thank you. Now, the next one, we'll definitely require a roll call. So the next one here that, and I may have misstated when I said I received it late, probably just because of how busy it was today, I saw it late. It did come in today, August 8th. I did find when I reviewed this, under section 3 and section 8, which is page 2 and 3, I emailed Brad to point this out. Looked to see if he replied since then. We left at 5 o'clock PM, so I'm guessing we'll find out tomorrow. But 3 looks like it's a leftover from a previous agreement with the booster station. So either that comes out entirely, or he has to rewrite that. But if you look at 3 under owner responsibilities, it's provide access to the booster station as needed, provide any relevant drawings, et cetera. That would not apply to this evaluation. And then under 8, I'm not sure if that's really needed either, because we're talking about grading and funding. So I think it might be an error there. So,
I don't think so.
you have that?
I don't think so.
It should be that right there, no, right? Should be that
I
one.
think Jason has it. I think Brian does.
Yeah, that's one everybody's, it should be right there.
That is, yeah.
So if you go to, page 2 of 3, number 3, owner responsibilities, you'll see what I'm talking about. And, so what I'll need to do is get that revised. I don't know if you're able to feel comfortable enough in your pre-approval to sign this.
I'd like to have it resubmitted first before approving it.
We'd have to get together again, we need to get this started. So this is the agreement to hire the consultant to check all of the solar findings and, you know, go through the seeker, make sure it was done correctly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we do need to start soon, so if we need that section corrected first, we need to get back together to do a motion. Or we put a motion with those corrections.
So let's talk about what the corrections are and let's duly note them on this document before we. So what changes are you looking to make, Tom, in section 3 and 8?
Well, section 8 may be easier to,
The assumptions and exclusions.
yeah, there won't be any grant writing, there won't be any bidding services, and construction phase services are excluded, those all come out. I believe that section is going to come out. You know, hard
So
copy
just-
printing of plans and specifications, it's not,
Just D?
they may have to reword it, so if we get these corrected, how do we get back together this week to approve it, is my point.
Can we do it electronically? Is there a way to have them kind of clean this up?
Yeah,
And
that's what I've
We can
asked.
look at it electronically
That's what
and
I've
then
asked
give
for.
our approval
An
electronically?
email like we did before.
How about we put in a motion then, how about we put in a motion that, once the, document has been corrected, it be provided electronically to the board to vote electronically to be included in the minutes of this meeting, under this motion. That sound reasonable?
Because I want to see what the changes are going to be for 3.
Yeah, it's, I think it could be
That's a
some
big one.
responsibilities, but I'm not sure it would be. It may be providing information from the town clerk's office, I'm assuming.
Turnaround time, you think is, so kind of resubmit this pretty quick?
I'd say tomorrow. I can be on the phone with them first thing if I don't see an email, but I emailed around 4, I left at 5, and there's nothing. Check real quick. Just in case he did it later.
Any other sections other than 3 and 8?
Those are the only 2 I found. No, they haven't replied. I guess that they were done. Did you write that motion down already?
You made it?
I made it, second.
Can you read the motion?
Tom made the motion to approve the document from AES, once the document is corrected and sent to the board members to electronically for review, and then they can vote electronically.
Can we add, it's correspondence dated August 8th. It's a letter of authorization, LOA number 2023-01, please, that way it's specific.
Yes, that's perfect.
And you're seconding it?
Yes. With those changes.
Can I get a roll call, because money will be, and by the way, the maximum to be expended is $10,000, if you've all read it. It's up to a limit of 10,000. It's all hourly rates.
Councilmember Rochester?
Aye.
Councilmember Bory?
Aye.
Councilmember Moore?
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter?
Okay.
Supervisor Trombley?
Aye. Thank you. The GovWell order form, pilot for code enforcement. Have you had a chance to look this over? If you remember at last month's meeting, you had requested a contract, and that's what this is. It lists what the reoccurring fees will be annually, which is $5,000 to maintain this software system.
And the pilot's 1544.
Correct. Correct. I believe you also asked if anybody else in the area was using it. The answer from Chris was no. But when he spoke to several on town of Plattsburgh being one of them, who are all also dissatisfied with the current system, and they're interested in possibly joining this as well.
So just so I'm clear here, are we only paying the 1544 at the time, and then once the contract renews January 1st, the recurring fee will be paid?
Yeah, That's how
That's the way I
that's
read
how I
it.
interpret
I
it.
just wanna be sure they don't want all 16,500, or $6,544 up front.
Yeah,
Says
so,
begins January 1st, 2024.
correct.
I
And,
see that.
They
they
will,
will credit the pilot fees towards the first year's reoccurring fees.
Right.
so the first year will include a reduction of 1544, so that's something.
Correct.
So, yes, the term is January first, 2024 to December 31st, 2024.
And this is what Chris will be using?
Yes. It's gonna be a big time saver.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it'll also be available on the website, for folks to be able to enter complaints electronically.
That certainly should help matters for
Or
streamlining.
make it too easy.
Mhm.
So what is your choice on this, folks? I'm good with it, I mean,
We've talked about it.
Mhm.
We did,
Chris.
at length last
well,
time.
we were almost ready to approve it last month's meeting, but some
Correct.
good points were brought up and questions asked, and I hope that this answers them. I think you may have had one or two of them. I welcome a motion to
Move it along?
move it along.
I'll make a motion that we enter into an agreement with Wells Services to provide code enforcement services to the town of Champlain via Chris Matot, town code enforcement officer, for a period of a year and a half, basically. Well, actually, we don't even have to do that yet. do we?
No, you're right, we just have to enter the pilot.
Pilot
Correct, just
program,
pilot.
yeah, so it's better yet,
Mhm.
Yeah, because if we don't like what we,
right.
So August 12th through December
December
31st of 23.
At a cost of $1,544.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please, Julie.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Councilmember Rochester,
aye,
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Supervisor Trumbull.
Aye, thank you. Okay, handbook is next in line.
yay.
Revise this one. I hope you've all had time to look at it. It's a lot of reading, so I'm sure if you did read it page by page, that I didn't have it on that now and then.
Cure for insomnia.
Anybody have any reason not to move forward to adopt? Before I read the whole resolution, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I think it was, yes, and thank you, Annie, because Jeff Travers was excellent to work with, very knowledgeable, did a great job, so thank you for that.
You're quite welcome. I thought he was very,
So resolution number 25 of 2023 to adopt the updated employee handbook of the town of Champlain. Whereas the town board of the town of Champlain is desirous of maintaining an up-to-date employee handbook which details current, and accurate personnel policies and procedures, employee benefits, compliance policies, and other pertinent information governing employment-related matters. And whereas the town board has retained public sector HR consultant LLC to prepare a revised and updated version of the town's employee handbook that accomplishes the foregoing objectives, and whereas the town board has reviewed draft versions of said updated employee handbook and has made determinations as to appropriate content. Therefore, be it resolved on this 8th day of August 2023 that the attached document be adopted as the official employee handbook of the town of Champlain. And be it resolved that the effective date of the adopted official employee handbook of the town of Champlain is dated September 1st, 2023. And be it resolved that the newly updated and revised town of Champlain employee handbook shall be distributed with signed acknowledgement to all town officials and employees. Could I ask for a motion to approve?
Make a motion that we approve resolution 25 as read. I have one question. What kind of turnaround time before town officials and employees have a copy of this? What's it look like
That's why we dated the effective date September 1st. We're hoping to get that,
by then?
all that routing by then. That was Sarah's request. So she felt it would give everybody time to digest any new requirements, etc. I'll second that motion. And, all in favor? Any more discussion, I should say?
Again, thank you, Annie. A lot in there. Long overdue.
Yeah, it was a very knowledgeable consulting firm. There's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, resolution carries. You need this one, or you got yours?
I got it.
Thank you. Okay, next one is, I gave you a copy of the email from Derek Rosenbaum. This is his cost to do an appraisal on the property at Bob Ben Park, in front of Bob Ben Park, I should say. It's for the amount of $750. I'd like to get this started, so I'd like to get an approval to move forward with this.
You already talked with Sarah, what account is this coming out of?
If I remember correctly, it's coming out of the B account, so, which can be used for parks, recreations, codes, etc. And one of the reasons why there's sufficient funds in that account is because of the building permit fees to the solar farms.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the expenditure of $750 for the appraisal on the parcel number listed here.
Thank you. I'll second that motion. Can I get a roll call, please? Is there any further discussion on it?
I think that's a great thing that, you know, we're gonna have that
Yeah, let's hope.
festival.
Yeah, let's hope we can get it reasonably.
Yes.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Maury,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. Next is possibly making another revision here to the building permit fee schedule. To bring, I don't know, I guess did Chris's email give you enough information as to why he was looking at doing this? You wanna?
I almost wanna table it and then have further discussion on it, because I think he brings up a lot of good points based upon what other municipalities are doing in regards to solar. I don't think this is something we rush into for this decision.
I'm okay with that. Councilmember Moore, I know you attended the meeting, and Mr. Bory, what's your thoughts?
We do, the sooner we,
Do it the better, I knew you were gonna say
the
that.
better, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I really,
That was Chris's recommendation,
yeah.
that the sooner we put this in place, it can be, ready for when those permits get filed.
Well, we can discuss it now. I mean, I have no problem doing that,
Yeah, I think. we
but
can
I
discuss
think
it.
we gotta, I'm not willing to just, deal with a change proposal that appears at the top. So,
For the small scale and medium scale?
yeah. I mean, that large scale, there's a lot of alternatives there.
Right, and that's the one really a question,
Right,
are we charging enough, right?
I don't think so.
I would agree.
That's what Chris
When
said.
60% of the electricity leaves the area,
Exactly.
Yeah.
that's,
Mhm. But the reason the small scale, the medium scale is left at that amount
Right.
is because small scale would be someone who wants to
People's
put solar
homes,
on top
right?
of their home.
correct.
Yeah,
Et cetera, so you don't wanna
discourage that.
discourage that because they are getting benefit out of it, right? They're doing it to produce electricity for their house, for
Mhm.
example. So you don't wanna make it unreasonable for folks who wish to do
Homeowners,
that. And our solar law does, provide all the provisions in order for them to do it and not disturb aspects of the neighbors. But for large, we're at 10 cents a square foot. We had a typo where originally Chris thought he made a mistake at 20, and now he's realizing that he was wrong. And as you can see, some townships charge very little, and I think that they're losing out by doing that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, town of Clinton is, in Malone, for example, that flat rate is ridiculous.
Yeah, we don't need to be taking advantage of it.
No. No.
I'm looking more toward the 20 cents square foot or 25 cents.
I am too, I'm between those two.
I'm actually leaning more towards a flat fee in addition to the actual 30 cents per square foot.
I don't know what the flat fee, I mean, like, for an example, Saratoga does a 330
330,
plus
correct.
30, I mean, what does that flat fee give you outside of the, $112,000 permit fee? It seems kind of that minuscule to throw that small flat fee out there on top of that $100,000.
But I don't think they're the only ones that do it. I think Chris is only reporting that Saratoga does it, but I'm sure that there's other municipalities that,
Certainly.
correct.
Well, I mean, this is a large number of them to compare to. Like I said, Malone and Clinton do only that little flat fee of $100 and $200, which is
That's
crazy.
nuts.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense. Town of Plattsburgh's 10 per panel.
What about charging per megawatt? What's everybody's thoughts on that?
I think that it's easier to control at the time of installation by square footage,
Yeah,
because you don't know what that
because you never
megawatt.
know what their projection is gonna be, they might project a lower megawatt powers.
So what do? Wait until they're operating?
Off and operational before you can,
Yeah,
Collect on your permit fee,
and that square feet is
that's actual.
actual, yeah, we can measure that, we can measure that.
Right,
We don't need them to tell us what it is.
Mhm.
true.
I'm not in favor of charging per panel. I don't think that's a
No.
direction we wanna move in.
No, cause the panels, vary in size for one thing.
Correct.
That's why I think the square footage is the accurate way to go, which is the way we currently charge. We're just, Chris is recommending we increase it.
Yeah.
Well, for utility scale, I think I don't think 30 cents per square foot is too much to ask.
No, I agree, and that's where I'd like to look.
Yep, I think that's where I
I think
begin,
30 cents.
is 30 cents
I
a square
agree.
foot.
Okay, so to put that into perspective for you, the project that was just permitted for,
That 5 megawatt,
at 10.
between
at
11,000 and
10
16,000.
At 10 cents, equated to $37,512. Under 30 cents, it's gonna, it would have equated to $112,536.
But they do get that reduced assessment.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I know, so this year, and this goes, into the coffer to, I mean,
Help with so many other things.
to use mostly for community benefits. You could buy truck, could buy a pickup truck for codes, I guess, but I see it as being used directly towards community in some form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is advantageous for our whole community.
yeah, I'm trying to think of stretches I can make, like maybe a feasibility study for housing development being able to come out of that account.
That'd be nice.
But I'm willing to make a motion that we raise the
Large
permitting
scale?
to 30 cents per square foot.
I think
So,
we,
large scale.
right, but I think we also have to clarify that small scale will remain at 10, medium scale at 15,
Correct.
Which
large
they're at.
scale at 30. Yeah, medium, it's not listed that way right now, it's just broad,
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be 3 categories.
3 categories, 3 sizes.
that makes sense.
And so can we even become more specific and kind of identify small scale, what small scale is, and so on?
You can if you go to the law.
Correct. So I would want that put in the
Yeah.
actual, yeah.
So you want the megawatt size in
I
there,
do.
yes it is, right?
I don't have that.
I got it somewhere, right here.
I have it at home.
Can I throw something out for you to think about? I know it's kinda out of point. I'll just talk and you just listen or don't.
Well,
Like the one on the Hayford Road, they've got it broken in 3 different sections, so if you look at it little section by little section, they could be small or medium.
no, those are all large.
Okay.
They're all-
Just, I mean,
By definition.
just be aware that somebody may try to subdivide to
I
get.
thought there were 4 sections there.
No, they took one out,
Oh, they did take one out? Which one did they take out?
the one that's in the bigger part of the.
Is that the
woods.
eastern, the east
Southern.
corner?
So, you're not gonna want that specificity on the size in the resolution, I hope, because I think we really need to put that in the policy itself.
No? It's all right. Oh, okay, I wanna get one here.
There we go. I have everything somewhere. It just takes me a while to find it.
That's good, there's a lot of stuff.
But
Still looking for it, or do we need it?
Yeah, I don't think they cite it in here as a,
They define what
Here it is.
Yeah, they define it,
Yep,
it's
I
in,
got
it's
it.
in definitions.
Large scale, 200 kW. Greater than. Medium is between 25 kW and 200 kW. And a small scale, I would assume is less than 25 kW. So, that makes sense.
You want that
It's
in
not
this
worded
resolution?
that way. I do. Yep.
What was large again, please? Medium,
200
200.
200 and greater, 200
KW.
kW.
Greater than 200 kW.
Medium is,
25 KW to 200.
Yep.
thank you. All right, let me take a stab at this.
Okay.
Typed up today, I'm sorry. So resolution number 26, Town of Champlain revision to building permit fees and schedule of 2023. Whereas the Town of Champlain Town Board, the Town Board identified the need to revise the building permit fees and schedule under resolution number 21, approved July 11th, 2023. And whereas the Town Board has determined, excuse me a minute, just like our website evolves. The Town Board has identified that the current charge is insufficient for medium and large scale solar. Whereas the Town Board is amending that fee to small scale at 10 cents per square foot, which is a solar farm less than 25 kW. Medium scale at 15 cents per square foot, which is a solar array of 25 kW to 200 kW. And large scale at 30 cents a square foot, which is greater than 200 kWs. And therefore be it resolved, the town, no, I'm fine. Therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Champlain does hereby approve this revision to the building permit fees and schedule dated August 8th, 2023. Motion to approve as read.
I make a motion to approve as read.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. Can we do a roll call on that one, please?
Just instead of 10 cents or 15 cents a square foot.
You want me to
of
point
panel.
Up panel, right.
Of panel.
Yeah,
Correct,
'cause it just
that's the
says
way it's
square
stated
feet.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
That's here, I just missed it as I was trying to, right, that is here.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Gory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you, motion carries. Julie, I will take this up before I give it to you.
Okay.
Okay, so that leaves us with, nothing, so old business. I do have one that I've added here, because it should have been added this last month, I forgot. That's the question I had with, acquiring, Evolution? Steve Peters' company, can't remember the name of it.
What did they do?
In
Grant writing.
grant writing, yeah. Anyways, you had asked me to do a little research. I did. He provided, I emailed you his reply with his references to what he's accomplished.
Okay.
I spoke with Molly Ryan, and Melissa Manis, and Chris Lattimore. So those are the three that I contacted. none of them were dissatisfied with what he did, you know, that, matter of fact, Molly said, no, he's very good at what he does. So I don't see any reason not to give it a try, because it's gonna be a case by case, you know, request. So all I'm looking for is, you know, the okay to give him the green light, and then as we see a need to investigate grants in any particular area, you know, such as recreation, say for the park, as an example.
Which is his specialty.
Which is really his specialty.
Correct.
Yeah, see how he does, see what he finds for us. What's your thoughts?
Well, it takes a grant writer to really, you know, squeeze out the money sometimes, so.
Well,
What-
it takes
what's the
that,
cost
it takes that
again for
dedication and
Steve's?
time. I don't have,
Call.
it was an hourly rate, I think it was
It
$75.
was, but I don't remember.
I think it was
Was it
75,
Yeah, I think it was,
I think.
which to me, if you get something, it'll be a bargain.
That includes something like the downtown revitalization, right, that we have something like that.
Yeah, for an example, that, call up, say, does this fit? Can you find a use for it that we could apply for and to fit our need, right? Cause I don't know if it fits, but yeah, great question for you. So we don't need to spend any funds on this, it's just whether you give me the agreement to, you know, tell him he's on board, we'll be in touch. If you decide to have me, that we should be having him look into that, then I would, you know, just simply ask him for some sort of proposal.
Yeah, I'd
What
like
an
to kind of
estimate.
share some of our comp plan with him and see what his vision is,
Mm,
get some ideas.
yeah.
So in other words, involve him in that.
I would.
Okay, we can.
Yeah,
That's
because
There'll
okay.
be, you know, an
There's
additional
always
charge.
startup capital that's gonna come from someplace, so. And why not grants?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have a grant to cover it.
I'm not talking about the comp plan, pay for the comp plan, I'm talking about for new venture.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
You guys in agreement? So just shoot him an email, tell him we're on board with that.
Yep.
That sounds good.
Okay, and water code amendment, we gotta find time.
Yes, we said we have, so we just-
Every month, we're like, oh, we gotta squeeze it in, and it's not that we're not busy, it's not that. But we do have to get on that, it's really, that's an important one that we really gotta get on, and also the credit
Credit
card
card, yeah,
policy
I
is
agree.
equally important, and the employee handbook can now come off.
So can we maybe push those up on the agenda next one?
Well, I think we need to,
The water's gotta be sooner.
Yeah,
we need to sit together
we'll-
and try to.
Let's figure out a day we can meet, and then we'll just, you know, I would say we should try to hammer it out before the end of the month, if you like, you know.
I'd like to.
Because we've already started, we just realized that we were, maybe overdoing it, so we've gotta go back and just make sure we have everything in there that we want. Because not currently there.
Let's look at our calendars after and see if we can find a date. I don't have a lot of openings, but early September, right? But I know that when school starts, again for both of us.
People going crazy again.
Yeah. See, it's more than the school taxes coming at us, it's school. All right, motion to adjourn, please. Unless there's any further business anybody has. Have to ask that. If not, motion to adjourn.
Do we need approval on the EDU before we,
It changes.
because
Oh.
normally we do.
Yes,
don't
we do. We went,
Or we
when
just
you,
kind of,
when you presented it, I kind of put over the side, yes.
There weren't a lot of changes.
No, there wasn't a
no,
lot of
it's
changes.
increased by 2.5, as you'll see by the adjusted listing.
Mhm. Do I see a -3 on Berto's account?
There are some that did go down, and that's why there's that summary at the bottom of the adjusted listing, plus also on that separate page.
Which one is Tritech?
That's the
Tritech is
solar.
the solar,
Yeah, I know, but which one?
Yellow.
Oh,
Is
it's
it?
yellow.
yeah, that's the yellow that you were referencing. Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
That's Tritech.
Tritech Americas. Okay. I make a motion to approve the EDU assessment. I guess it's for 2023, 2024, correct?
Okay, so,
Yes, for 2023, 2024, and once the correspondence is complete, that'll be provided to everybody at our next meeting.
well, this won't, we've already billed for this full year, so these new figures won't come in effect until January,
Correct.
cause we've already billed.
Correct.
True, but it's the midterm assessment provided to the water board.
The water board has to have this now, prior to,
So that's what makes it a
Yeah,
split year.
yeah, so yeah, it's updated, we're updating it through 2023, but it takes effect in 2024. Correct. So this is
For
the.
billing.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So basically, this, Rick submitted the report for what we came up with after our meeting.
Right, which is.
I'll make, do you need a motion? Make a motion to accept the report?
Okay, let me just make sure we got these right.
I was just making that. you can
So,
second
account 24 is going from
yeah.
0.5
go over the
to
last column.
5.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to 5,
it. Mhm.
and then Berto's, you're taking away 3?
Look at the last column,
So it
that's
says-
that's what the, after our July 20th meeting, that's what it should be.
Okay.
So look at each one of those. You'll see it's actually dated at the
So
top of the column,
to
July
2,
2023.
to 2. Or it says 1. Okay,
Boy, the poor golf
so do you
club.
wanna just say the account numbers? 24,
Yeah,
44,
in the motion, you
and
mean?
202, yeah.
Well, I guess, because I think the total's what matters, but,
And I'd also like submitted our recommendations as were read also, because that needs to be,
within the minutes, you mean?
yeah,
Okay. With that one correction.
yes. Not lead.
Are you good with the motion? Or do we need to, want me to reiterate it?
No? So you made the motion?
Yep.
I'll second it.
Do a roll call.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's go ahead.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you, Brian. Councilmember Moore for bringing that up. Any other further business? If not, I welcome a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that motion.
We'll always leave that one for
Thank you.
Annie.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, 9:16, thank you.
And hopefully there's some cabbage.
Thank you for coming.
Yep.